the doors were closed before. When I arrived to this country, they said to me, if you're going to stay here, you're going to play villains.
Great to meet you, Antonio. I mean, I love this film. I love all the Puss in Boots films. So for you, this must be like, I assume this is just great fun. It's an easy yes. You don't even need to see a script. Like, do you like putting the boots back on? Do you know, and getting into it?
Definitely. In fact, it was going to happen before, but there were some changes in the studio. I mean, and DreamWorks moved to Universal. There were, so at some point, I didn't know if actually it was going to happen. But then I started receiving news that, yes, that they were thinking very seriously, just give another chance to Puss in Boots, so yeah, absolutely, I was totally committed from the moment that they talked to me. Yeah.
Well, and what do you think it is about the character that we all love so much? Because people were screaming out for this, is why they probably made it. Do you know what I mean? Do you think it's the same things you love about Puss that we all love?
Yeah, I mean, the character came alive in the saga of Shrek, in which basically we just wink an eye to audiences with classic characters or classic fairy tales and telling them, telling the story of these characters in a completely different way. Always, with a completely different type of vision about, what the characters were before. And so Puss came into that saga as a little bit mischievous and, a gambler in a way, but at the same time with tremendous honesty when it comes to actually friendship, for example. He's very loyal. So there is this combination of things in the character that made him very attractive. And then, the character grew in a different way through the years too, until we hit this wall, in the version that we have now. I'm sorry, I interrupted you saying.
No, not at all. You're fine. But this character, I mean, he's super cute. There's all sorts of storylines going on in this. But I believe you've said that you think this film has changed people's perception of Latinos. I wanted to ask you about that. Do you think it's an important film in that regard? Because most people wouldn't think about that here in Ireland.
Definitely. It did, because, first of all, because, what is our audience? It's very important that kids recognize suddenly that the hero of a movie can have an accent, and the bad guys can speak the perfect language. That is not something very silly. This is very profound when you think about it, and what are the audience that are receiving this message. So yeah, definitely. I just answered a question before in that sense, not just talking about Puss in Boots, but some other characters that I did and some movies. Because in Hollywood, which is a reflection of society, they put the accent there about 20, 25 years ago, a little bit more than that, probably 3 decades, in order to include diversity in the universe of Hollywood. That was a very important step. Of course, there is still a lot of steps to be taken, a lot. But the doors were closed before. When I arrived to this country, they said to me, if you're going to stay here, you're going to play villains. That's going to be for the Hispanos and for blacks. They're going to play villains. And many things have changed ever since. That's the truth. And Puss actually brings that kind of fresh air in that sense. Yeah.
So, well, listen, Antonio, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Congratulations on the film.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Cheers.